Entombed in adamantium and glory, the Dreadnought rises, an immortal warrior of the Allfather, clad in the storm-grey heraldry of the Space Wolves. In this video, I will bring the legend to life with a bold Space Wolf paint scheme worthy of the sagas. Welcome, Tip-Top Tabletoppers. As you've seen, we have a new logo and a new way to do things, And we are starting off with a Dreadnought. And we are not gonna use a paintbrush because, we wanna mix things up, do it a little bit different. And I know everybody's saying, okay, take an airbrush. And I've got that thing standing here, but I don't know. It's just not something I use pretty easily. So I started to use a sponge. A cheap makeup sponge. Yes, I asked my wife to go get one. And she laughed, but hey, everything for the paint job. So you use the sponge and you can already see that it gives a nice coverage. The areas you don't really reach, you just take an old brush. I'm using a dry brush, an older one, a little bit smaller one that can actually meet all the small parts, as you can see, because you do need to get the brown, in this case, everywhere. It gives that nice rusty underground. I must say though, I've already made one and I really do like some parts to stay black. It gives a depth to the model, as you can see. It's just something at least I enjoy to watch it. It gives it a little bit more depth. Alright, but then we go to the Space Wolves and we want to end up in Fenris Grey, of course. I know I'm taking Citadel colors, but hey, they do the job just fine. You start dabbing again. Make sure the sponge, when you use it, is moist, definitely not wet. So clean it out, make it completely wet, and then just rinse it out. Get all the moist out. Just a little bit needs to stay in, and you get the best and easiest way to paint up. As you can see, it's definitely not hard. Just start dabbing, and if you dab hard, so you really press down, you can see that a lot of paint will stick behind. But if you do it very thinly, so you really try to dab it with caution, you can see that the undercolor will see the day of light more. You can actually adjust it. Right. This is the end product when you do the nice dabbing. It's completely covered, at least as far as I want to. I want to keep some brown coming through, and I want the rusty effect, to sort of say. I don't really like the rusty effect everywhere, so I'll just use the brush to, just a little bit there. All right, fine. And then we go to the parts that I like the most. The small parts, the skulls, the insignia, the rockets. When you've blued up the entire model, to say it like that, just take a small brush and some white paint and start to make everything that you're gonna change the color of and make it white. So the skulls, the ribbons, but also the rocket heads, even though they are gonna turn out red eventually, just make them white now so that you don't forget to do that later on. As you can see, I did the lights up there. I'm now doing the insignia on the side. So everything that's gonna change color, or at least become a brighter color, make it white. They stand out, you have a little chance of forgetting it. So that definitely works the easiest way. Some parts, of course, are going to change color, like the wings of the insignia. But I don't want to do them white because I want to go darker with them. I want to make it non-metallic gold or non-metallic copper. That's a choice you can make, of course. But I wanted to go non-metallic gold. You guys know the recipe already. A brown color, then go up with a more mustard kind of color, and then eventually thin the mustard color down with a yellowish pink kind of color. I'm using the Vallejo set from Squidmar in this case, and it has a beautiful rust brown that works all the way up. It just gives a nice color, but you can change them to any other color too. Just keep it brown, copper, or mustard, sorry, and then eventually the more yellowish end color. All right. As we are looking, well, as we are looking at how I'm painting this insignia, and I'm getting the highlights in there. I do want to keep everybody in the reminder, remember just do every time a little bit less. If you're gonna highlight up, start dark, get a little bit brighter, every time a little bit higher. Keep the 25% rule in mind, and it's okay. Yeah. My question to you guys: what do you like, the new logo or the old logo? A friend of mine, shout out to Rico. He gave me the new logo, and yeah, yeah, I like it. What do you guys think? All right. The most important thing about highlighting is, of course, the edge highlighting. I know it's a dread and people don't really like it, but it definitely gives a change to it. If you edge highlight the entire model, even though it's a very little thing to do, it definitely gives a lot of change to the model. When you do the edge highlighting and you're at the dark color, like in this case the dark brown, and you don't want to go all the way up to the light, just take one color higher and edge highlight with that one. You don't have to take the end color to highlight everything. Just highlight the parts one color higher than where you left off. So if you go from brown to red to pink, you highlight the brown with red and you highlight the red with pink. Alright, as we are watching the paint get pushed onto the model, you guys want to know who is the winner of the Nurgle Marine. And I must say, I like the fact that people responded. And people are responding more and more, so that's definitely a plus. I'm trying to give a reaction to anybody who responds to any of the videos, of course. But Fursel, you really like the Night Lords, and you apparently are starting to enjoy the Death Cards, which I find really cool that you have some friends that, do this together with you. So, yeah, just send me a message and we'll work things out. I must also say that Night Lords, I am terrible at painting them up. I like the look, the aesthetics of them with the bat wings on the head and all that, but they are, well, I find them terrible to paint. It's not my cup of tea, to so to say. All right. As you can see, I'm painting the rockets red. I really think that red is the color to go with rockets. If you're standing there and a rocket is flying up your face, it has to be red. Call me an orc, but that's the way it needs to be. Right, if we go down to the nozzles, I really get this cool scheme here that I like. It's shades, so a purple shade and a blue shade. That's technically all you need. You take a shade and start dabbing it on the areas that are hot, like the exhaust or the nozzle of the gun. Just dab it on there, wait a couple of minutes for it to dry, and then dab it again until you have a nice purplish undercoat. And then take nightshade blue and start dabbing the nightshade blue on the end of it. Sorry for the fake camera work here, but as you can see, the upside is blue and the downside is purple. It gives a really cool effect. You can also extend it with a little bit of brown underneath it, so you get that real overflow, as you can see here. So yeah, it's an easy scheme. It's really fucking easy. Just do it. and it looks awesome. All right, there we go to the edge highlighting, and the Dreadnought has a lot of edges, but they're all sharp, they're all straight. It's not that hard. Just make sure your brush is tilted, or the model is tilted, and start rubbing the brush by the edges. It's that easy. Just be careful that you don't have too much water in the brush. If anything, a little bit too much paint would be better than too much water. But just as you can see, easy, careful, and just make sure that every edge is highlighted. Yeah, some damage on there, but that's my Dreadnought. Yeah. Just tell me, what else do you guys want to see? I'm still dabbing my toe in Slanesh and dabbing my toe in Space Wolves. Space Vikings need to rule. All right, see you guys in the next video. Keep the brushes wet and enjoy your day.